Hi folks, I want to give a bit of a heads up. The episode we're about to discuss includes a joke in poor taste at the expense of, gender non-conforming people. It's not quite clear. I refer to it in the episode as being a gay panic joke, although whether trans panic or intersex panic or what exactly would be the best term for it, I don't know. You've heard these sorts of jokes before. I think you probably know what I mean. It is a small part of the episode, but I want you to know that we're going to discuss it and that the phrase we're going to use is gay panic, and I know that's not ideal. So if that's not something you want to hear people talking about today, that you take care of yourself, and we'll be here. That being said, let's talk about John and Aaron. That's a lot more fun.
I mean, but I gotta admit it was kind of hot. It was kind of steamy, and I was like, ugh. And I was like, damn it, doggo, damn it. It was so close. Like, I feel like this show has been balloon balling me for 12 episodes.
Hi, friends.
Hello, puppets.
Howdy, y'all.
And welcome to Muppets, Sex, and Trauma. I'm Sara Ezzat, maker of the Costume Codex videos on YouTube.
I'm Jack Kramme, editor / right-hand man for Passion of the Nerd and editor for Chipperish Media.
And my name is Josh Gosdin, and I make a mean steak.
And that's enough.
Often.
And we're here today to talk about The Flax. The Flax was written by Justin Monjo. He will become one of the main staff writers and script consultants, but this is his first episode. And it is directed by Peter Andrikidis, a prolific Australian director. In our A-plot, Aaron is teaching John how to fly one of Moya's transport pods. There's a lot of, friction.
My microbes had to have translated that one wrongly.
Between them at how slow he is to pick things up. But he's learning, and she can see he may be worth the effort.
Because you may become vaguely of some use to me one day in battle.
Just as things seem to be going well, they hit a snag. Literally, they seem to snag on something in space. But what is it?
Back on Moya, a B-plot is brewing as the crew have just run into a scrap dealer named Stans,
A connoisseur of what other people throw away,
who has come to warn them of a mysterious, invisible thing that snags ships in space. Stans says this Flax is run by a group of pirates called Zanetans. They aren't sure whether to believe the story, but keep Stans around while they check it out. At least Stans can play Tadek and amuse Rygel for a bit.
Back in the transport pod, Aaron and Crichton are assessing the situation. The pod isn't moving, the power is draining, and the comms aren't working. Working together, they manage to get some power back and send off a message buoy for Moya. So maybe they can wait for the others to come to their rescue.
I'll deal with
environmental.
On Moya, Dargo has checked out Stans' record and really doesn't trust them. Stans admits to having been one of the pirates, but turned on them to get out of trouble. Dargo is unsure, and when he sees that Stans has Luxon boots, he's even more suspicious.
You tried to loot a dead Luxon ship.
Of course I did. That's what I do. I loot ships. I see a ship, I try and loot it.
And offers to take Dargo to find the Luxon ship.
And so begins Plot C.
On the transport pod, things aren't looking good. There's a piece that needs welding, but there's too much pure O2.
What if we depressurize, blast it out into space?
Just one problem. There's only one functional suit.
Meanwhile, Dargo and Stans are off to find the Luxon ship. Dargo is hoping to find a map with fragments to help him find his son. He gets word that John and Aaron are caught in the Flax.
They'll be safe for a while.
Well, they're stuck in the Flax. They're going nowheres.
The Zanetan pirates have found Moya. Luckily, the leader has tangled with a pregnant Leviathan before and doesn't want to do that again. He does want to see if there was anything worth looting.
I see nothing of value here.
Or if they have seen any sign of Stans. Dargo has warned Zahn and Rygel not to say anything about Stans. Rygel decides to challenge the pirate leader to a game of Tadek to keep him busy for a while.
Aaron and Crichton are arguing about who should wear the undamaged suit.
Nothing to talk about. You know welding, you should do the repair.
She has a medical field kit with a shot that will temporarily kill Sebaceans and bring them back to life. Very logical. There's just one little problem. The broken suit is Crichton's. Will the kill shot work on him?
Probably.
Will the revival shot?
I say 50-50.
Maybe he'd better teach her CPR, just in case. She finds it difficult to learn, but he knows it's worth the effort.
You got about 4 minutes, 180 microns before my brain starts to go adios.
They suit up, she gives him the shot, decompresses the pod, and starts the timer.
Stan's ship gets caught in the Flax, but they manage to get it unstuck before receiving readings on John and Aaron's pod and see that it is losing pressurization.
Looks like your friends might be out of luck. We may have no reason to rush aboard that Luxon ship.
Dargo thinks about rescuing them, but believes they have a reserve oxygen tank and that this might be his best chance to find his son. So he keeps heading for the Luxon ship, but he's torn.
Rygel is losing badly and wants to keep betting. He knows he can turn it around if he just plays a little longer.
But one you call stands. I know where he is.
Rygel!
I wager his whereabouts.
Then he loses and gives up the frequency.
Time is running out for John, and Aaron can't quite finish the repairs. Frightened and alone, she chooses to revive him instead of finishing. It's a good thing he taught her CPR. He comes to and wonders why she didn't keep going with the repairs. She could have survived. Now they may both die.
Almost at the Luxon ship, Stans reminds Dargo he might be able to see his son again.
Yes. But when I do, I want to be able to look him in the eye.
Zahn is so pissed with Rygel for betraying Dargo and Stans, but he tells her he gave the pirates the wrong frequency. He was bluffing.
You lost your crackage on purpose.
You think it was easy? He's an abominable player.
Facing death together, Aaron admits to John that she revived him because she didn't want to die alone. They turn to each other for comfort, which becomes a kiss, which becomes fumbling for a way out of these ridiculous suits, when...
Somebody docking?
Dargo interruptus.
What took you so long?
Dargo has arrived to save the day. He ties up Stans and takes over the ship. Stans is pleading to be let go for Dargo to travel with them. They're lonely. Oh, and they're actually the female of the species. Q90's gay panic joke.
Yeah.
Everyone is back on Moya, and Zahn finds Dargo in a pensive mood. She reminds him that he saved Aaron and John. He did good. But our boy is hard on himself. A warrior should be decisive, and he wasn't.
On every front, I failed.
Aaron and John protest that it was just the intensity of the situation. They're not going to kiss again. Nope, definitely not. But John also kind of jokingly checks that the door's not totally closed. He's just checking in that he's learning her ways.
I think that is a yes.
Our boy was hard on himself until Dargo rocked up.
Our boy was hard on a couple of things.
Okay, so thoughts on the episode?
I gotta be honest, for the first 20 minutes, I wasn't really feeling anything. I'm like, what is this? I don't know. But from pretty much like 17 to 20 minutes onwards, I'm like, okay, no, this is cool. I'm in. Yeah, I just wasn't really sure where it was going, and I don't know, it was strange, but it was good. I liked it in the end.
I am delighted and intrigued to hear you say that, because same.
Okay.
Like the first half of the episode, I was just kind of like, all right, there you go.
It's not terrible by any means, but it's just like,
It's a slow burn.
And then, well, it maybe for me, it didn't even feel like anybody struck a match until midway through.
Yeah.
But then it's
and then it's amazing.
God, I just all the way to the end. I was just beside myself, and I was agog, and I was aghast, and I was delighted. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
I have a mixed response to this one because I love everything John and Aaron. I love the whole. I mean, this is the most moonlighting in space of moonlighting in space. The two of them working together, and then it builds. Stan's no, not a fan of that. Not a fan of that thread at all. And Rygel and Zahn thing, it's okay. And I do like some of what's going on with Dargo, but yeah, I find Stan's quite annoying, and the stupid gay panic joke just makes me want to.
Yeah, I agree there, but I liked Stan's overall, like removing that gay panic joke. But for me, he was I don't know, female. I don't know, Stans. Let's just call him Stans.
I figure we can sort of use. I don't know. I use non-binary pronouns in writing the thing, but
Stan's personality and characteristics are so Australian. Like, it's hard to explain, but anyone in the audience who is Australian will know what I mean. It's very Aussie. Stans is what we would call a larrikin, which is hard to explain exactly what that means. You can Google it, but very, very Aussie, and so that's why it resonated with me a bit to see that kind of character in space in a show like this. And also Stans was played by Reese Muldoon, who was in season 1 of a show I loved when I was a kid called Jeannie from Down Under, a kid's show about this rich girl who moves from England to Australia, and she finds an opal, and then out pop a father and son genie team. It's probably terrible, but I loved it.
Yeah, I could almost hear the live studio audience cackling at the end of the episode during the weird, like, I love you, I'm a female of the species kind of a gig that they were going on, and that also knocked me out of it a little bit. I was very much like, okay, because also I was trying to track through the episode and trying to remember, like, didn't Stans, like,
absolutely everybody uses he for Stans. It is a stupid writer joke for a cheap laugh. And that's the thing. The first time I watched it, I had your reaction. I enjoyed Stans. There's a lot about that character that it's enjoyable. But watching it after I know that the stupid joke is coming, it's just...
It takes you out, yeah.
I did specifically like the line, I love you. Just the delivery of it really tickled me. But no, I get, like, overall the joke is pretty terrible. But I don't know, that line just, I giggled.
The actors doing great things with what they've been given, even with that stupid line.
Yeah, so it knocked me out as well. And if Stans is an accurate Aussie caricature, I'm happy to say that John is not an accurate Southern American caricature. Okay. I have never in my life said slick as snot or colder than a frog's ass.
Well, you're Texan. That's a little different, isn't it? Than he's what Tennessee,
Georgian? That's a contentious point. That is a contentious point about whether or not Texas is in the South here in the United States.
Yeah.
Or, like, there are different kinds of... I mean, it's definitely Southern. But, like, aren't there sort of different languages for the different parts of the South?
Yes and no. There's a universal... there's a unifying cultural thread. Mm-hmm. And then there are different, I guess you could say, flavors of South. Texan definitely stands on its own in a lot of ways. I've always considered Texas to be part of the South, but when I've gone... we're really getting off track here. When I've gone into other states in the United States that are also in the South, and I've said, yeah, I'm from the South, and they say, oh, where are you from? And I say, I'm from Texas. They say, you're not from the South. If anybody is out there in the audience who's from any geographical point below the mid-equatorial of the compass in the United States, then you know what I'm talking about.
Should John be more specific when he's talking about his roots? I
don't know if he should be more specific or if he should just quit bullshitting, because no Southern saying slick as snot.
We get an indication he's at least lived for a period of time in both Tennessee and Georgia. Are some of the states that get name dropped at some point in the series.
Well, he lifted off from Cape Canaveral, didn't he? Which is in Florida. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he would have lived on base there at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah. But, where these particular metaphors come from, they are very entertaining.
And so I've said this before, but once again, it's really nice to hear another Australian accent on like a mainstream, pretty big budget production. We don't get to hear it a lot, and there's so many Australian actors on this show that aren't masking their accents at all, and I love it. It's great.
Yeah. This is what representation feels like. I'm not going to do the dance again, but...
Well, it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn to do the dance. The dance of I feel represented.
Not of capitalist superiority. There's the Buffy reference. We did it. We got it out of the way early. I also loved Stanza's overall design. There's something very Mad Max about it. The face tattoo and the costuming was kind of this post-apocalyptic kind of steampunky sort of vibe. I digged it.
Oh, I dig that set. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, that set looked like it was a lot of fun to stumble and crash around on. And one thing that I really appreciate about this show, and I think I commented before on this aspect of the production design, but everything does something. The props are movable and the set pieces are movable. And it lends a lot of immersion into the world. It's not just characters who are staring at a computer monitor with a green screen over it that something is going to be superimposed on later. They're twisting a knob. Mm-hmm. It feels. I really like that kind of aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and the weird auger pogo stick thing that he was using to drive his grab ship, whatever the hell he called it.
Yeah.
I'm super curious about those dolls and where he got so many of them from too. What the hell is that, dude?
Yeah, we could if it weren't for the whole stupid joke, we could have gotten a whole Stan's spin-off. That would be fascinating. Just what is this person's life?
You removed that joke. It's a wonderful character with a wonderful performance. I liked there was this, from the beginning, I wasn't sure if Stans could be trusted or not. There was this sort of trickster thing going on. I wasn't sure. And it kind of, I don't know, it didn't go where I thought it would. I thought it'd try and be subversive, but then it wasn't, but then it kind of was. I don't know, weird. I felt like it didn't really... It's not that it didn't go anywhere. It just seemed like it kind of just fizzled out. I don't know.
Yeah. So potential, but kind of... Nah.
Yeah.
We're giving Stans a B. Could have been...
I'd give him a B+.
Could have been... Stop... Just figure out what you're doing with the gender rather than making it a stupid joke. And, do something interesting with it. It would have been, there's some potential there. It's fun that he's sort of playing devil on the shoulder for Dargo.
Right. Yeah.
If we start with Dargo, last episode, everybody got tempted off their, away from the central group and sort of offered the thing they wanted. Except Dargo, and, Rygel too, but Dargo got it this time, didn't he? Had, offered the thing he wanted and had to
right.
Let go of the temptation. So what did you guys think about Dargo in this one?
Well, I guess kind of starting from the beginning, there's that scene where Zahn and Dargo are arguing about Stan and Stan and what they should do with them. Dargo doesn't trust him, and Zahn wants to give them the benefit of the doubt. And I can see both sides. I'd want to give Stan's a chance, like Zahn, because I don't want to judge a book by its cover. But also, given the predicament that the crew are in, they're on the run from the peacekeepers and all that stuff. Trusting the wrong people could be very dire for them. But I was also wondering if there was some subtext going on with Dargo. Again, I could just be... I mean, I say this every episode, but I could be reaching here, but the way he immediately jumped to not trusting Stans, there was... I was wondering if there was some sort of subtext going on there to do with prejudice and classism, or just judging a book by its cover.
I read so the rhythm of the episode to me, and I think that this was deliberate, was set up to be to feel like another go around the merry-go-round. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Because it very much started off, like you were saying, Sara, with Dargo once again for, I think, the third time is willing to sell out the crew for something Luxony or getting homey or something like that. And sets off on a rescue mission. It's like going out to the grocery store, but picking up porn on the way or something, and not telling it, the folks that you're going out. And they're like, why'd you take so long at the grocery store? I'm like, well, so he goes off on this, not quite a rescue mission. And that was what was killing it for me in the first half of the episode, was the sense of here we go again. Here we go again from the last episode. Again, here we go again from casually dismembering Pilot. Here we go again from all the way back with Matala. And by the end of the episode, I was loving all of the character beats that were going on, including Dargo's, because what it felt like to me was, after somebody decides to behave differently or to do something differently, or has the experience of making a mistake or messing up, the next time that opportunity comes up to replicate that mistake, learning has to be put into practice. And so that's what it felt like Dargo did here. He actually did what he learned not to do. He actually did the thing that he learned to do as a result of what he did previously. And I really liked that. So with that...
And then he's hard on himself for not learning quick enough.
Oh, we'll get there. Stans, to me, was like a little Iago or a little id. Because at the beginning of the episode, Dargo is like, he could be dangerous. And then at the end of the episode, once Stans is hog-tied up to the, that's a southern phrase, is hog-tied up to the pilot's chair in his own ship, John goes, is he dangerous? And Dargo goes, no, just annoying. Kind of like one's own baser impulses and, unchecked desires and stuff like that. That was the thread that I was reading, is that Stans was kind of a representation of Dargo and his I guess, unchecked shitty impulses.
And he chains them up. That makes much more sense to me now, because initially I was like, hang on, what did Stans do to deserve to be tied up? I don't understand what's going on here, but that makes more sense to me. I mean,
Stans is the one who's exactly, yeah. Stans is the one who's like, let's go to the ship, let's go to the ship, let's go to the ship. So that's what I got from Dargo and Stans, from Dan's, if that's going to be their ship name.
Yeah, that's I like that reading.
Also, I love the line. I can't remember exactly when he says, but Dargo says he wants to be able to look his son in the eyes. I love the idea that him was I could go back now, but I want to do that and as a free man, a free Loxon, with my name cleared and my innocence proclaimed. That's such a wonderful thing. Like it wasn't. It was a multifaceted decision. It wasn't just to save Aaron and John, which I'm sure was a big part of it. But he was like, no. If I go back, I want to do it the right way, and that's wonderful. I love that.
Because that connects to him being the one who actually delivered the blow on Pilot's arm to the end of that episode where he came in and played the acoustic guitar for Pilot, like the frat boy that he is. And, you know, to this episode, you know, they didn't do a flashback. They didn't even reference that event or anything. But like in his eyes, that was what I was seeing. Mm-hmm. Was he remembered how shitty it felt. And like imagining seeing his son after that, and his son's like, "How'd you get home?" And he's like, "I hacked off one of my friend's arms." Give daddy a hug, you know, like that wouldn't go well. So yeah, Dargo did really well for me in this episode. Dargo damn near moved me to tears in this episode.
Yeah, the I want to be able to see him to look him in the eyes when I do is one of my favorite Dargo character beats in terms of his growth. That you know, you can totally understand. I love a character who's complex enough that you can understand them doing wrong, and I can understand him needing a few tries to learn to do right, and having to vocalize out, you know, that the value of doing right, and you know, especially as we know he comes from a culture of honor and this and that, but it's not. You know, he's talked about warrior stuff before, and he does that here with the, you know, warrior is supposed to be decisive and all that. But really, honor is, in practice, is something like that. Is something like, I want to be able to look the people I respect in the eyes. I want to be able to look myself in the eyes. I want to be able to live with what I've done, even in the worst of circumstances. And, you know, I think it's a wonderful thing that we get to see Dargo learn. I mean, to me, this episode has a lot of sort of like learning beats. But Dargo learning what he wants, what he sees honor to be about is to be that I want to do right. I want to not leave my friends to possibly die.
Yeah, God, like Anthony Simcoe's delivery when he goes, "They could have a reserve tank." Oh. Like that's such a dry line, but like just the anguish on his face.
Layers, man, holy shit.
God, got me.
Yeah.
Layers through all the layers of makeup.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and Anthony Simcoe, like, the more we get into the series, like I said in the beginning, I found Dargo to be a little one-dimensional, but Anthony Simcoe is really bringing him to life and adding these layers, yeah, and just, I'm loving Dargo more and more, and a huge part of it is the performance, I think.
Mm-hmm. So then, there's also... So there's honor, which is, you know, being able to look, you know, his son in the eye. And then there's also being able to look himself in the eye. And that's a long ways off. The line that he gives on at the beginning, when he says, you know, when she goes, "Hey, you know, have you read your Peacekeeper file?" And he goes, "Not everything that's in our files is a lie." To connecting that all the way to the end of the episode, when he's, you know, talking about like, I didn't do what a warrior is supposed to do. So he was turned in by his Peacekeeper brother-in-law, because his Peacekeeper brother-in-law is a racist son of a bitch. And, you know, his Peacekeeper brother-in-law killed his wife and he had to exile his son. And then blame Dargo for that. Like pin the murder on Dargo. Mm-hmm. It's easy for me to imagine, Anthony Simcoe, character layers, tentacles. It's easy for me to imagine that for Dargo, the distinction between having killed his wife and having let his wife die is negligible. Not everything in our files is a lie, he says. He failed to protect his wife.
Right, yeah, and he's a warrior. That's what he does.
And he might see her death as connected with her falling in love with him. It is connected with her falling in love with him.
Yeah, if she hadn't loved him, she'd still be alive. And at the end, he says, a warrior is supposed to be decisive.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to know, though, they did save you. Not when it counted, of course, but after that.
Jack.
Every night I save you.
And of course, it was her choice to... And I mean, how much we choose love is the thing, but she chose her actions to be with him. So, but our whatever voice in our head makes us feel guilty for stuff doesn't always listen to. She made her own choices, and also the only person responsible for being a racist murderer is the racist murderer.
Right.
And a lot of the
even
time,
if his brain can't process that, it is true.
Right.
And a lot of the time, when you're in love, you want to give it a chance. Love is a very powerful thing. It's a driving force sometimes, and so yeah, I don't think you can remove choice from the equation. And she obviously didn't choose to die, but she chose to be with him because she loved him. Yeah.
Yeah, she's not a damsel.
No.
Not at all.
Even though we've only seen her picture at this point, but the person who is responsible for her death is her killer. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't mean his mind doesn't consider him. And
of course not.
Guilt and shame are seldom rational.
But it may not be only himself he's talking about. Not everything in our files is a lie, which leads me to wonder if he's read Zon's file.
Leads me to wonder as well, and that was where my brain went first until we got to the last scene of the episode, and so I think that line could probably have more than one meaning, like a literal meaning and a metaphorical meaning. I'm just, the next episode is called Rhapsody in Blue, so
we will get there.
Gershwin. Anyways.
So we don't get a lot of Zon in this episode. Mostly very annoyed with Rygel. But shall we talk about Zon and Rygel?
I don't really have anything to say about Zon, but my boy Rygel, oh my god. I loved him this entire episode. Zero fucks given. He's just having fun while all of this dramatic shit is going on around him, and he's just pissing everybody off and having fun. I loved it so much. He's banging shit around and he's playing space chess and stuff. It was great.
Yeah. I loved Rygel too. Again, there would be. I feel like it would have been easy and maybe even lazy writing to drop the exposition that he's a deposed regent and just kind of leave it at that. But if he was the Dominar, presumably there was some palace intrigue at some point. If he had on a hefty day 120,000 people waiting on him.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do with 3 servants, let alone 120,000. What the hell, dude? Most of them female too. Even then, I was like, what?
He had to be good at what he was doing. He had to be good at holding on to his throne, and he played everybody like a fiddle. As from the moment that Crackerjack stepped onto the ship, I have the subtitles on, and the way that his name was spelled did not remotely match how they were pronouncing it, and so his name is Crackerjack to me. Yeah. And I loved it. Like the reveal at the end.
In my head, I'm now thinking it's Kakistos, but that's something else.
Kissing toast.
Taquitos. He loved taquitos.
Taquitos.
Government nerds.
Is it just me, or did the Rygel puppet look like it got an upgrade? It looked a lot better to me.
I was wondering if his eyes were digital.
Oh, okay.
His because they were moving a little bit more this time around.
I don't know. I just noticed it just looked cleaner and better. I don't know.
The puppet does get a few updates. I hadn't noticed whether it had gotten one this episode.
Yeah. And then Zahn was kind of annoying me this episode.
Okay.
And I think that I am right where the writers want me to be. So I'm pretty okay with it.
Yeah. I'm kind of with Zahn in the annoyance with Rygel at the beginning there. I mean, just the smacking things around, and I'm boy.
I love it. He reminds me of the baby from Dinosaurs. Not the mama.
He totally does.
It.
He also reminds me of my brother when he was little, and I'm sorry, Ramsey, you were annoying.
Called out. Hey, nice to meet you, Ramsey.
He's a lovely grown-up.
I'm sure he is.
but when he was a little kid, and yeah, this is Zahn has such big sister energy in this, and I'm sure to my sister, I was at least as annoying.
I like that label, big sister energy. Yeah,
she definitely had big sister energy, and I am sure I was also annoying as the younger sibling. But yeah,
maybe that's why she was annoying to me. What does that say about me?
You were indulged. You were maybe the indulgent parent who's understanding of Rygel being annoyed.
I was the only child who wasn't used to being checked,
right,
by an older sister.
Yeah, because that just I'm bored. Shut up. Just. You can see it. You can see in her face. She's just shut up.
I love him so much.
I used to have slaves to deal with by every nano moment. Okay, are you 5?
He's the 16th.
But that he then plays around and turns it all on its head and comes through in the end does bring up the things that I like about about Rygel. I'm doing the thing, we're mixing up the names. But yeah, like I changed the frequency before you. I love that. Yeah, Rygel can stay. Rygel can stay. We won't throw him out the airlock just yet. But yeah.
Rygel, as of this episode, I think Rygel has a very impressive win record.
Right?
Like, he's won almost every conflict we've seen him come into this season so far. And other than being kidnapped and thrown for a loss. And even then, like, John was like, he's got a disease, and Rygel goes, he was like, he's insane, and Rygel goes,
He also reminds me kind of, and this thought has just come to me now, but he sort of reminds me of like Tyrion Lannister in that, small in stature, but very, very intelligent, very, very witty, and can play you like a fiddle if he wants to.
I like it.
And has very few morals.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know why I love him so much, but I do. He's great.
That's okay, dear. You can love him. There's plenty to love there.
I think he's just, I don't know. He's just, I mean, I know he's a little selfish and he's a bin for dick, but he's just, I don't know.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Little.
Just a little selfish. Okay.
I mean, not on the big stuff, not when it counted.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, he comes through when it comes down to it. He's just a little. I wouldn't call him selfish. He's hedonistic. Is what I would call him.
Childish.
I
He's
don't
indulgent.
know. Indulgent, yes, but when has he come through when it cost him anything?
Does it have to cost him anything though to come through?
Well, he shat fire.
This is true.
And then pissed fire and let himself be frozen like
frozen. And he got all snotty and
This is true, but I don't know. I think yeah. Well, we'll see.
So far he's small scale selfish.
Yeah.
He's large scale selfless.
Yeah, and like I don't think that altruism or doing the right thing by other people necessarily has to come at a cost to him. But I see what you're saying though. Maybe if it came down to it, he would be selfish if it was himself on the line. I don't know.
Well, the real test of these things is when you risk yourself. You know, like Dargo did. You know, he risked. He gave up something for Aaron and John.
Well, okay, we're gonna get into game theory. He didn't give up anything. He never had something.
This is true.
And all that existed was the possibility that something might exist.
So he gave up the pursuit of something, I guess.
He gave up the opportunity. Yeah. But Dargo also didn't risk himself or risk anything.
Well, we've covered Zahn, we've covered Dargo, we've covered Stans, we've covered Rygel. Is it time? Shall we discuss moonlighting in space before Josh explodes?
Oh, Josh, you look ready to explode, sir. So take the floor, my friend.
I was just sitting in my living room, clapping like a fool.
Like a happy freaking seal.
I thought they played it really well. Kudos to old Claudia and old John, not John Ben. They played it really well because I like they leaned in, and I thought it was going to be another time where they were like, no.
Yeah.
But then they did it. They kissed. And I don't know why I'm so like giddy about it. It was just adorable. And then they had just absolutely hysterical, like trying to tear a lover's clothes off is a much dicier prospect than the romantic comedies ever led us to believe.
It showed the awkwardness of it. The fumbling.
Trying to tear off like a spacesuit. Like all of the zippers and the clasps and it was like the least sexy almost sex. And it was just so adorable, and the music was so perfectly cheesy and over the top. Like I was just like giddy and happy and giggly the whole time. Who am I? Oh, it was fantastic. I loved it. And the looks on all of their faces when Dargo came in, and even Dargo's face, and Dargo was like, you guys want to go? It was just killing me.
You want to know what's funny? I've got here in my notes talking about the scene where Crichton falls on top of Erin or something, and she's like, "Comfortable? Can I get you a pillow?" Having capital letters here. Oh, come on! Can these two hurry up and bang? Oh no! Can these two hurry up and bang already? And
in the commentary, they love joking about all the times they get knocked against each other. Yeah, they were just taking the piss out of like, oh, is so many, and in all the episodes up until now, like there are just so many times that they just, oops, bump into each other, oops, fall over each other. So yeah, the actors were having a blast with the Can I get you a pillow?
Speaking of falling over, just quickly, there was that one scene where there's like some explosion on the ship and they can get thrown to the walls. That was like Star Trek, the original series, bad. It was bad. It was clearly just throwing themselves against the wall. I kind of cringed a little bit at that, but what are you going to do?
I think Claudia Black actually ran towards the
wall. Yeah, like she like sprinted towards it. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least Ben Browder saw him to throw himself, but she just ran at it.
Mm-hmm. Now, granted, I've never been on a spaceship when there has been an explosion in the bridge. So I don't know how dignified or realistic my throw would be. But yeah, no, Claudia Black just like ran into the wall.
Yeah. It was comical, and I kind of laughed for all the wrong reasons.
That was great.
Yeah.
But okay, we jumped to the end, guys. We're jumping all the way to the end.
Well,
okay, you're right.
No, we got to start. This is the slow build. Is part of the point here.
Well,
we start with them. We start with the flying lessons and the whole taking time to learn things.
God, you're really going to make me go all the way from the beginning, aren't you?
Well, look, all I've really got to say is all of that
Good
felt
things
like just...
take time.
They do,
They do, yes.
But thanks, Big Sister.
That was not Big Sister energy I was going for, but okay.
I don't have a big sister. No basis for comparison.
Anyway,
yeah. Some things you have to take your time and build slowly.
You do, you really do.
Yeah, you have to learn each other's ways of doing things.
There's a lot of subtext going on here, I feel like. Like, do I need to leave for a bit? I don't know what's going on here.
If you let someone learn, it's usually worth the effort.
Yeah, no, this is me drawing gigantic arrows to what's going on in the show.
What the hell is going on?
Yeah, she is teaching him something which takes time to learn. She is teaching him her world.
How to...
She's getting a little annoyed with how long it takes him to learn.
Which can happen from time to time.
I'm so
Everybody's different.
But she says, the line I love is, I can't remember exactly how she puts it, but she does say, like, I wouldn't be putting the effort in if I didn't think you were worth the effort.
She says you're worth the effort.
Yeah, you may be of use sometime. Like, yeah, there is a lot of subtext going on.
And then by the end of the episode, well, we can't go to the end.
I mean, yeah, that was.
Sarah.
I feel like a lot of this episode, it was just an excuse to get those two together so we can see their chemistry and their bond growing. Not a complaint at all. Loved it. It was freaking amazing. But
correct.
It was just. That's what it was. That's all it was, really. Well, not all it was, but that's what it was. And it was fun seeing them play off of each other because Claudia and Ben are just wonderful together, I think. They're so good.
Yeah, I'm just saying it's not just about the end. The whole experience was done very well of the friction between the two of them. The way that it built.
Like the part before the play. Like
yes.
That was, yeah.
Maybe the real sex was the friends we made along the way.
I swear to God, Jack.
the finish was earned. Even the fact that it was even with the way it was interrupted.
We're going to talk about an anti-climax now?
No, there was a climax. Don't forget Shakespeare. John had a little death.
This is true.
It was a very small death.
Yes.
Well, we don't know how small it was. Well, just stop, Jack! Stop!
Listen, Sara and I have been.
Having
so you're
way too
fine.
much
You're
fun.
fine, Jack. You're fine. You're really fine.
I feel like I'm losing my freaking mind here.
I know the feeling.
Sorry, sweetie. We were having just way too much fun with the subtext.
This is I love you two so much. so much.
Oh my god. We're gonna get banned from YouTube.
Yeah. And
No.
Spotify, even though we're not on Spotify. But
We are on Spotify. We just have an
we're
explicit. We have an explicit listing.
I had no idea. We're on Spotify. There we go. Episode 12, and I've only just figured that out or found that out. Oh boy, I'm bad at this. Worst content creator ever.
This is why I'm in charge of producing.
Yep. Because Jack doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
You and I knew we were on Spotify.
But A, we have an explicit listing, and B, subtext doesn't necessarily can fly under the radar.
I think the subtext is fast becoming text.
Didn't know we're on Spotify.
We are also called Muppet Sex and Trauma, so nobody entering this space is
it's on the
unaware
tin.
of what's coming.
It's on the tin.
Yes.
Oh.
No, I like some of the things is much easier to notice when when you've watched the episode a few times.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy the whole, the whole thing about, their interplay and their discussion of learning. Mm-hmm. And we get some interesting tidbits of both of their backstories. We get such contrast of his experience is, things like learning to drive in a big old empty parking lot. Mm-hmm. And hers was a simulator that kills you if you fuck up.
Yeah, what the hell is with that? What?
Welcome to fascists.
Peacekeepers, man.
That escalated very quickly. Holy shit.
So I when she said that, and he goes, well, of course it does. I actually, the fact that she didn't say anything after he said, so the simulation kills you, made me think that maybe the simulation didn't kill them, but their instructor killed them. That's not the actual simulation, but they'll be like, oh man, I made a mistake, and they come out of the simulation, and the instructor goes, bam, But yeah, it was dark.
Yeah, there's some dark implications, and yeah, this is she doesn't really know how to learn. She only knows one way to learn, and it's at at gunpoint.
Well, and that's why it was so sweet, and thank God it's Friday again when she was like, I learned science.
Yes. And we see, she gets so irritated with him when he's struggling to learn. And then what's her reaction when she needs to learn CPR? This is hard. I'm never going to do it. He's like, no, we're going. I really love the way, I love every minute of the two of them.
Me too.
Even with their silly throwing themselves against the wall stuff.
But I love that whole sequence. When they discovered that there's only one helmet and someone has to do the repairs while the other has to basically die. And of course, Erin immediately volunteers to be the one who goes under because of course she does. She's a freaking badass. And then, of course, we get the revelation that the only functioning helmet is Crichton's, and Erin's helmet won't fit him. And there was something very subversive about the way that played out. I really enjoyed it, and I really wasn't expecting it to play out like that. I liked the twist in how it made the stakes a hell of a lot higher, and the whole thing a lot riskier, because the surbation drugs might not bring Crichton back if he's without oxygen for too long, and so they have less time. And then there's still no guarantee that Crichton won't die. I thought the whole thing was really well done.
It was fantastic, and I actually cackled, maybe inappropriately, when the drugs took John. And he
just drops.
Yeah, because she injected him and he was just sitting there and he was just waiting for something to happen. And You're right, that wasn't. And then Ben Browder does like the most like over the top, comical, like bad Shakespearean actor death scene where he like,
and the whole like the delayed reaction joke has been done so many times, but the way it was done here was, I think, like, it's funny because it doesn't have the effect it was meant to. You know what I mean? It's.
I don't know if I was supposed to laugh or not.
Aaron doesn't react at all.
Yeah, and she like she was like, yeah, that's about right. And then before she gets knocked over after she's done repairing, every time it cuts over to John, like just the way that he's just like sprawled out. Just absolutely killed me every time.
Yeah, there are so many great writing choices, great directing choices, and great acting choices in this. Because I think, like, really, as from looking at a writing perspective, like the way that they increase tension, just notch it up, and the way that just like, it's really good. And then the directing plays into the sort of claustrophobia of the small pod.
Yeah.
And then, the choices that Aaron, that Ben and Claudia are making throughout, just like the particular way she smiles when he falls on her, when she gives that "would you like a pillow" line, just the way that she shifts and the way that she smiles is just like comfortable. But it all makes it all work just so well.
And then you said the way she smiles at the very end of the episode.
We will get to the end of the episode.
I literally yelled at my screen, but anyway, yeah.
We will get to the end of the episode.
You're right. It's good things take time, Sara. It's just we've been building up. It's hard not to.
The heat of the moment.
Just think about football for a bit or something. Think about Pilot singing WAP. Because
I'm kind of into that though.
Oh, that was so much fun to make. So we have all those moments, but then we have Aaron functionally alone while Crichton is dead, trying to fix the trying to fix the thing in time and worried about whether she can make it and the decision that she makes. And do we have thoughts on that? I think we have thoughts on that.
There was something so tender and almost like fragile about her performance there. It was so like gentle, and I don't know. I found it very affecting myself.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, buddy.
But she was like, I chose you, or where she, I don't remember what the line was, but she basically goes, I chose you.
She didn't want to die alone.
She didn't want to die alone.
Even if she might have lived alone. Yeah.
It was the most tender and loving we had seen Aaron, I think, and I kind of want to date her now. Like, can she love me, please? I want to be loved like that.
I mean, don't we all? God, Aaron is Also, Claudia Black is you've got to see Stargate and see what else Claudia Black is capable of playing.
Right? Yeah.
She is such a good actress.
And just the fact that, like, she woke him up because she didn't want to die alone. There is something about that that's just so, like Shin was like, okay, we're screwed. I accept this fate, but still, I don't want to die alone. It's just... I'm struggling to articulate, but I have feelings, friends. I have feelings.
Not to get all passengers on us right now, but what she also did was condemned him to die a much slower and more agonizing death by waking him up.
Perhaps.
Which, is not great. She bought them half an arn, which, as we all know, is 90 microts, and no, that's not right.
Don't worry about the made up math.
No, don't worry about the made up math.
I don't know. I think
nerd.
Getting woken up to die having sex with Aaron Sun isn't really that bad of a way to go, if I'm being honest.
It's 1,350 microns.
Oh.
So she bought him half an arm. Thank you. Not me pulling up a calculator in the middle of the podcast.
That was such a nerd flex.
Thank you, because 180 was 4 minutes, and the math just did itself from there. What the hell was I saying?
Agonizing death, passengers.
Agonizing death.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh God, good luck with the bloopers, Sara.
I'll just leave it in.
Sure, sounds great. She was. They didn't know that they were going to be rescued, and they had half an arm to hopefully be rescued, and she didn't want to die alone, so she brought him back to life so that they could die together. That's a little on the problematic side, but it's also very, very sweet and romantic.
I mean, I'm live torn. Or die, they were going to do it together. That's the choice she made. Because otherwise, they would have both died alone separately because he would have already be dead. So,
she, on the one hand, she chose hope. On the other hand, she condemned him to a painful death.
Because it's not like he was going to live. It's not like he was in stasis. He was
already dead.
Yeah.
I also feel like waking John up gives him a sense of agency in a way, because if she didn't wake him up, he would have died not really knowing what happened. At least this way, he gets to know what happens, and he can sort of make his own peace with it. I don't know. But then, maybe it'd be better off dying and not knowing, and not going through the suffocation agony. I don't know.
No,
two heads are better than one. There's also always the chance that they could have pulled a rabbit out of their hat. And John is a lot better at improvising and thinking on his feet when it comes to sciencey, repairy things than Aaron is. So sure.
I don't think Passengers is a fair comparison, because I hate that movie.
I love it.
I hate Chris.
I love Passengers, but
I
know
Chris
everybody
Pratt's.
hates it. Everybody I know hates it and gives me so much shit for how much I love it, but I love it, and I would die on this hill. Mm-hmm. Love it.
He's a sociopath.
I mean,
and I don't think Aaron is.
But I do love that,
because John, she wasn't taking away life from him.
Yeah,
I mean, she was. Oh, you're right. He was dead. He was 100% dead, and she could have let him stay dead.
I do love, though, that in their final moments they choose comfort. It wasn't necessarily, okay, we're gonna die, let's have sex. It was more like, we're gonna die, so let's just, I don't know, if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. Or so, no, that's not the best way to put it. But they chose comfort in whatever form that may be, rather than sitting there terrified. They just thought fuck it and went into their passion and just went for it. Yes. And then
fuck it indeed.
100% fuck it. So they can I talk about the end now? Are we ready to finish?
I think we're ready to finish. Yes, okay.
John was. I'm sorry.
Not here to kink shame. No, just yeah, it was hilarious and it was adorable and I'm I was trying to imagine like NASA astronauts trying to rip each other's spacesuits off and like you have to kind of like and it's not sexy at all. No. And I don't know if either of you have ever worn like a wetsuit or a one-piece leotard. Not that I've ever worn either of those things, but there's a body odor that's associated with the first unveiling, and it's like, that's not sexy. And they're freezing to death. Like it's cold as space out there, and that's really not sexy in several ways. And it was just so adorable, and I loved it.
You want to know what's funny though, Josh, is I don't disagree with you at all, but at the same time, there was something really hot about it for me. I don't know. I was into it. Yeah. And then Dargo shows up, and you had a wonderful description of what that is.
Well, he basically cob-blocked them.
There it is, car blocked. I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life. That would be the last thing I'd think about on my deathbed.
I like Dargo Interruptus. I don't know if I would have gotten the car blocked without Dargo Interruptus.
I was so, like... I was frustrated by that because I'm like, yes, it's happening. It's finally happening. And then he rocks up. I'm like, no, I've been waiting for this for so long.
Sweetie, that is exactly the reaction you're supposed to have.
Yeah,
it's very frustrating when that happens.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like it. Like, let me have my what's the word? Let me have my catharsis. Climax? No, not catharsis. Just let me see two attractive people banging. Okay, just let me see that. I want to see that.
There's plenty of nonfiction, very short films for that.
I'm well accustomed.
Some of them are complete fiction, also.
But then the scene after that where John is like, heat of the moment. I've literally got in capital letters. Oh, fuck off! Like that was my reaction. I literally said, "Oh, fuck off!" You were both into it. Like, shut up.
Then we get the sort of checking for consent moment of, and I know it uses the joke that I hate, but. It is effectively when he says, "Are you the female of the species?" Because as if those two are going to give a damn about gender here. Effectively he's saying, so there's an opening here. And I love it. It's like, it's a way of doing consent for flirting, consent for building on this.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I want to, if you want to, wait, do you want to? No, I don't want to. Oh, no, but I mean, if you want to.
It's not, do you want to, it's... Maybe someday?
Yeah.
Will we get there someday?
Josh, you look like you have something to say.
Then she smiled.
She smiled.
Great.
Yeah.
And also, like, they did the over the shoulder look, but they did it at the same time, which I appreciate as a writing, artistic, directing, acting, whoever came up with that choice, because so many times it's a cliche in fiction that one will look over the shoulder and then turn away, and then as the other one looks over the shoulder, and they don't realize that they each look. But they both looked, and they both looked away real quick. It was adorable.
Yeah, it's like there's an opening here. We're both on the same page that there's an opening here.
I really feel like this episode we got a glimpse at Erin's marshmallow center. This gooey center that is shrouded by this rough, hard, crusty exterior. Crusty? Why did I say crusty? That's.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah, and it was cool that we got to see that because we had gotten hints at it, but we hadn't really properly seen it until this episode.
But it's the sort of thing that might take time and patience.
Okay. Thanks for managing my expectations for me. I appreciate that.
We got 4 seasons in a movie.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not saying what happens when.
I don't have that kind of time, boo boo. We gotta go.
I'm just waiting for the Muppet sex because that's gonna be a trip, man. That's gonna be a real trip. It's going to be weird. Especially if it's like a human and the Muppet. Oh my God. Like a real, oh my God. Please let it be that.
I mean, this is not one of those short nonfiction films. So we don't actually see.
Oh, I'm not expecting to see like dangly bits and no. I know that's not going to happen. And I don't know if I want to see that in this show today, Josh. Doggo's tentacles just
he
start
got
like
a tentacle
wiggling.
job. Matala gave him a tentacle job. Like, come on.
Oh God! What? Anyway.
So, do we have any theme stuff apart from I've hit on the sort of there's a theme of learning people thing.
The deepest into the artichoke that I got was connecting Stans to Dargo, both with his kind of selfish impulses and also with his self-hatred. You know, his immediate suspicion of Stans was a direct reflection of his own self-hatred and his. So at the very end, when he says, you know, John goes, "Is he a danger?" and he goes, "No, he's just annoying." That's letting go of some of that self-hatred a little bit. I wasn't able to make anything else out of any kind of like a thematic connection amongst all three of the plot lines.
I didn't
other than
see,
like you were saying, Sara, like, you know, good things take time.
Yeah.
You know, it was nice and refreshing to see Dargo put into practice what he learned. It was nice to see Rygel own Crackerjack, and you know, Aaron and John I've already gushed about. The last bit with Zahn and Dargo at the end reminds me of the discussion we were having in the last episode about John almost flying through the wormhole, and Aaron almost putting away his baby at risk and that kind of thing. Almost failing is not a failure. That was a note that I made for myself in that at the end of that scene where, you know, Zahn is like, "But you rescued them," and he goes, "Yeah, but I almost didn't. In every measurable way, I failed." It was like, almost failing is not a failure. Almost making a mistake is not making a mistake.
Yeah, but you're further down that road than Dargo is.
I am, and I'm grateful for it. And somebody told me an analogy once that I really like. Building on the road. So the road to any kind of a mental health journey isn't necessarily about the distance traveled along the road, so much as it is the distance from the ditch next to the road.
Oh, wow.
I like it.
So I am further down the road than Dargo is at this point,
Gorgeous.
and he and I are both pretty close to the ditch sometimes. And so it's a regular reminder for myself that almost failing isn't a failure. Almost making a mistake is not making a mistake.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Josh Gosdin, like, my God, I love you so much, you wonderful man.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I like that. I really like that. And we are all sometimes a little too close to the ditch than we would like to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, to me, that the through line, the thing that I see is just playing the long game. You know, that's what Rygel did. That's what Aaron is putting in the effort of the teaching John for, and it's sort of what their relationship is. And it's what Dargo is doing for his own self-actualization, is, you know, thinking about the long term, putting in the work.
Would you guys say, if nothing we do matters, then all that matters is what we do?
I would say that, yes. Okay. I would absolutely say that.
Sorry, I cut you off there. I apologize.
Yeah. No, like, yeah. That is where we're, you know, that is the, yeah. That we keep walking on the road. And
Following the yellow brick road.
Good things come with time and patience.
And that's what John learned this episode.
Right. And with that, favorite parts.
You know what? I'm just going to say it. I don't have a favorite part. I just love Rygel throughout the entire episode. He's just having fun while all this dramatic shit is going on around him, and he does not give a fuck. He's just having fun, causing havoc, winning chess. He just space chess. Love it, and I'm not going to pick... Just every time Rygel is on screen, that's my favorite part. Although the John and Aaron Stark, chef's kiss, love it.
John and Aaron kissing. I was clapping like a seal in my living room here.
For me, it's that last beat of them looking at each other and then him walking away.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sort of the possibilities left on the table.
There are always possibilities.
Right. So, speaking of possibilities, you already know what the title for the next episode is going to be.
I'm very excited. I'm very intrigued.
A Rhapsody in Blue. And we've had a request to, have you guys guess what might be coming up with these titles. So what do you think might be coming with?
Rhapsody in Blues? I don't know. The crew forms a Queen tribute band. I don't know.
Love it.
I haven't got a clue, but if that happens, I'm going to be very surprised and very happy.
So I keep thinking about Gershwin and the song Rhapsody in Blue, which is just this saucy, steamy, jazzy kind of a gig, man, and it's really great. I'm cheating a little bit because I looked up the definition to make sure that I'm on point here. But a rhapsody is an effusively enthusiastic or ecstatic expression of feeling. And it can also refer to an epic poem, usually of Greek in origin. We got a blue gal who I have been champing at the bit for some meat on, and for some payoff, and for some resolution, and for some movement. And all she's been doing is having these spurts of emotion so far.
Oh, I'm excited now, Josh.
So we will also have a guest. Ren is coming back.
Oh, yay!
Is that Ren the Barbarian, the YouTuber?
That is Ren the Barbarian, the YouTuber.
What?
Also known as what? The Star Trek Guru?
The Star Trek Guru. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
They have some thoughts they want to share with you.
Okay. I'm down.
Looking forward to it.
Following Rhapsody in Blue will be Jeremiah Crichton. Do we have any thoughts on what that might entail?
Maybe some biblical reference. I don't know. Wait, Jeremiah was the guy that went in the whale, right? So does John get... Oh, John, never mind. Okay.
He's already in a whale.
He is.
Yeah, he's already in a whale, so never mind.
No, Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Mm-hmm. So that's probably what's going to happen next episode.
And I helped him drink his wine. He always had some mighty fine wine.
Yeah.
Rhapsody in Blue, it's a musical episode. There we go, I called it.
Following that...
If we get a musical Farscape, I will lose my shit.
Following that is an episode some folks are going to be looking forward to called Durka Returns.
Durka?
I'm sorry, what?
It's called Durka Returns.
Durka.
We got some good stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Durka. Okay, cool. That's cool. Okay.
Josh is just like losing his shit and trying to hold it all in.
It's totally fine. Don't mind.
All right, then. So that's it for us this week, I think. Jack, do you want to tell the folks where they can find you?
You can find me on Twitter at lackofsurprise1. That's all one word with the number 1 at the end. You can find me on our official Discord server. All 3 of us are there. You can come and hang out and chat and party and rock and or roll. You can also catch me on a podcast I do with my friend Ian Martin from Passion of the Nerd. We call that Podcaster of the Nerds. We're kind of on a bit of a hiatus at the moment, but there's like there's like a ton of episodes there. You can start from the beginning and work your way through. If that's your thing or not, that's fine too. By all means, do whatever you want to do. You can also find me on Instagram at Jack Kramme, all lowercase, I think, no spaces, I think. I'm not on there much, and if I am, it's mainly just pictures of my food, and Josh and I like to tag each other in our culinary delights.
That's true. Jack and I have been cooking each other dinner over on Instagram. Which is pretty much, I know, right? It's pretty much the only place that I live on the internet at this point, other than, yes, at me in the Discord. If you have thoughts and feelings to express, I'd be delighted to hear. I'm over on Instagram at Josh Gosdin, which is mostly just food and self-care. So if those things interest you, come hang out with me.
And Sara, my love.
Where can people find you? What are some of the things that you do?
You can find me working on my last year of undergrad, which is a lot. But also, I have a YouTube channel called The Costume Codex.
Yes, she does.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, does she.
I hear it's, great content.
Yeah,
it's
five stars.
It's continuing to do well.
Growing exponentially, I hear. I see.
Yeah.
I got sort of the most kind of the cool one of the very cool things. I'm just gonna fangirl here right now. Okay, Michael Hobbs liked my Twitter and like told me he watched my videos. So
Michael Hobbs, you say?
Yes, of You're Wrong About and Maintenance Phase, two of the best two of the best podcasts. So and also that happened to be one of the few things that my mom understood about the whole sort of my YouTube blowing up things a bit was, the writer of that article I showed you liked my work. And Mom was like, oh, that's interesting. So that's one of the things that I can actually show my boomer mother that makes sense.
There you go. So, there's something for everyone over at the Costume Codex.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get something recorded for Halloween soon because I can have time to edit it between classes. Yeah, so that's what's going on with me.
Good stuff.
Right, so we would love to see you again in 2 weeks to discuss Rhapsody in Blue.
Come on back, hang out, have a giggle. There'll be lots of giggles.
Lots of giggles.
Yes.
I'm sure on a show like Farscape, there will be lots of giggles and no trauma at all. Nothing bad will happen at all.
No, I'm not going to cry. What do you mean? No, of course not.
Yeah.
I'm ready to be hurt, guys. I'm so ready.
Yeah. Tear me apart, Farscape.
It's Farscape. It's never going to do what you expect it to do.
True. It hasn't so far, so...
That's true. That's really true.
Well, I mean, there is an episode where it does, but mostly... But this one coming up is not that one.
Okay.
So, yeah, we will see you again in 2 weeks.
Thanks, friends.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Sorry, I'm sassy today.
That's good. Save it for later. Okay.
Wow.
I just got out-sassed in like 30 seconds.
Fucking did, man. You got shut right down.
Timber.
I just went so I could concentrate. Oh, man.
Drop a bomb, Sara.
I really just meant so I could concentrate. Get this line out.
That was fantastic.
I'm sorry,
that was fantastic.
Shut the fuck up, I promise.
That was great. Photon torpedo.
Okay, can I actually get this line out now?
Good luck.